Shalom, first and foremost, all praises, glory, and honor goes to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, double honors to the elder apostles at Great Millstone that taught us this true salutation. Oh, yeah, I can pushing this word day in and day out. Doing this quick lesson, as you may have heard, but really most of the people ain't really here because last night it was rushing to the grocery store trying to get the last honey ham, the last masses trying to get the last turkeys and cranberry sauce, which that represents the blood of the Israelites that was shed, that was sacrificed for Esau to gain this nation. All right, of the Northern Kingdom, so-called Latinos and Native Americans, mainly Issachar, Reuben, and Gad, the so-called Mexican, the Seminole Indian, and the Native American, man. All right. So, while everybody was rushing to the store, trying to get that Black Friday shit in, fighting traffic, honking each other's spirits, riled up. There was a National Guard shooting, a shooting scene of a National Guard. I'll just put it that way. In Washington, D.C. Let's see where it was at. They said Farragut Metro. So I used to work like literally a block from it. This is a couple blocks from the White House. And I used to work like on 17 and L. Where's L Street? DC so weird. I can't even. Here it is. I lived here majority of my life, and I can't even navigate, man. Can't even navigate. Goddamn map, man. It's HI. So I guess L is somewhere over here. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I used to work 17th and L. So I used to take this metro station when I would have to go to work and, get my monies and shit. Pick up a check, things of that nature. Yep, I used to work right here. 17th and L. Right at this intersection. I used to work right here. For years upon years, man. All right, like around 2020. I stopped. All right. So Farragut Station is right here. So around this area, them two National Guardsmen got shot. So call all y'all Bashim y'all shot that the judgment is springing forth, man, where, men of the Lord, which I believe I'm one of them. I'm not bragging or boasting. I'm just confident in Yahweh Shai. Set foot, man. All right. This is my walking path, man. I used to be on a regular. And, the Lord took out this job, needless to say, that I used to work at, because they did me dirty. They singled me out for some bullshit, right? So the Lord took out this business that I used to work at right here. Okay. I think, it's either right here. Yeah, because it was closer to the edge of the sidewalk. So it was right here at the bottom levels. All right. The Lord took this shit out, man. Okay. Call Yahbashim Yahushai. So it says, the DC attack makes troops Washington DC exit less likely. Yeah, that's that, and I think that's done by design. Because here it is. You have federal judges talking about, we about to preemptively, have these national troops, National Guards, taking boots off the ground, which is all a circus, right? Hegelian dialect, right? It's all a shit show. And here it is. This event happens, when most people aren't watching news. They amongst their family, they partying, getting drunk, getting high, just being demons, man. And this event just occurs, right? They always do their wickedness and pass their laws and do their unrighteous decrees during the holidays because they know most people ain't watching then, all right? So, from what I heard, I was watching Dabu. He said it was a so-called Arab that was the gunman, you know. And, this is the title of this lesson. National Guard shooting will likely make Trump crack down even harder. He's going to lock this shit down eventually. I'm thinking, between late this year, early next year, it's going to be some type of lockdown, which is a good thing. I can't wait. We just got to see how it plays out, man. Wednesday shooting was the first major act of violence involving the National Guard. Yeah, because, you're going to have minor acts of violence against the National Guard. Then you're going to have major rebellions. You're going to have civil wars. You're going to have insurrections. All right. Especially when this economy collapses. All right. So let's see what the next article says. There's nothing else on this one. Trump calls D.C. National Guard shooting scene an act of terror. This is President Trump called the shooting scene of 2 National Guard members in D.C. an act of terror. The suspect, a 29-year-old Afghan national, to justice, man. 29 years old, man. So this young man blamed 2 National Guards members, all right? So this goes with this whole rhetoric. Getting the migrants out or the foreigners out of Babylon, man, Okay, he spoke on it too. Let me play this clip.
My great fellow Americans, earlier today on the eve of the Thanksgiving holiday.
See, he not even in D.C. He in Florida, man. That's his White House in Florida. You really don't really be residing in D.C. full time, man. That's part of. And this is they said Dick Gregory said the blue Trump is the fake Trump.
2 members of the National Guard serving in Washington, D.C. were shot at point-blank range in a monstrous ambush-style attack just steps away from the White House. They'd been deputized as part of the most successful public safety and national security mission in the history of our nation.
Showing you that this is a false flag, more than likely, because the blue Trump is the fake Trump, and he's the fake Trump or the clone robot Trump, whatever it is, AI Trump. He's speaking. It's more than likely a false flag.
Its capital, the D.C. Safe and Beautiful Task Force, which has achieved an unprecedented reduction in violent crime and crimes of all type. This heinous assault was an act of evil, an act of hatred, and an act of terror. It was a crime against our entire nation. It was a crime against humanity. The hearts of all Americans tonight are with those 2 members of the West Virginia National Guard and their families. The love of our entire country holiday.
So West Virginia National Guard, I think West Virginia is one of the most so-called whitest states on the East Coast or Midwest, whatever is considered. I think probably more than likely a Midwest because it borders Ohio. I believe it's overwhelmingly Caucasoidish, over 50%.
Our entire country is pouring out for them, and we are lifting them up in our prayers. As we are filled with anguish and grief for those who were shot, we're also filled with righteous anger and ferocious resolve. As President of the United States, I am determined to ensure that the animal who perpetrated this atrocity pays the steepest possible price I can report tonight that based on the best
You know, it's code newspeak, code language. You know, the animals are. Esau basically refers to all non-white people as animals, man. You know, so that's code speak. Okay, it wasn't a white person.
available information, the Department of Homeland Security is confident that the suspect in custody is a foreigner who entered our country from Afghanistan.
Salaki, if it keeps pausing, you see that? That's the key word. He's like, it's a foreigner. You see, we're right. We gotta keep hammering down. We gotta take it up an extra notch. You know? And I'm gonna get to the precepts in a second. You know, there's a lot of meat right here.
Hellhole on earth. He was flown in by the Biden administration in hellhole on earth. Hellhole. Department of Homeland Security is confident that the suspect in custody is a foreigner who entered our country from Afghanistan. A hellhole on earth. He was flown in by the Biden administration in September 2021 on those infamous flights that everybody was talking about. Nobody knew who was coming in. Nobody knew anything about it. His status was extended under legislation signed by President Biden, a disastrous president, the worst in the history of our country. We're not going to put up with these kind of assaults on law and order by people who shouldn't even be in our country. We must now re-examine every single alien who has entered our country from Afghanistan.
It was a movie. I forget the name of it. Came out in the 90s. I believe Denzel might have been in it. Might have been The Siege or something like that. I forget the name. Where they rounded up all these so-called Arabs and threw them in FEMA camps, man. All right. That's what's getting ready to come to a city near you, man. And hey, he doing that to them Arabs. Hey, I can't imagine what he's going to do to 2/3 of you niggas. Which ultimately is the judgment of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai.
And under Biden, and we must take all necessary measures to ensure the removal of any alien from any country who does not belong here or add benefit to our country.
Yeah, so they about to re-examine. Trump's about to re-examine, you know, you foreigners, man. You know, he's about to bring out that beast system, man. This devil's about to come down with great wrath because he knows that he have but a short time, man. All right. Second Ezra 8:50, for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter term shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. Yeah, man, these people, especially this time of year, the so-called festive time of year, you can't tell a nigga nothing, man. I'm gonna eat this ham. I'm gonna eat this chitlin. I'm gonna eat this goddamn shrimp. This lobster pie, man. You know what I'm saying? These niggas are proud as hell. That's why I stay out the way. You know, I stay to myself. You know what I'm saying? I've been by myself since I was a kid, man. You know, of course, we come together with the Akim, commune, do the work. You know, link up, do the work. But for the most part, hey, I be by myself, man. You know? Let me get that Revelation 12:12, man. It's Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the heavens of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knows that he hath but a short time. So, amen. So-called white man knows his time is short, his days are numbered. So he's pulling all stops, man. You know, part of his stops is you know, like I said, while people were in a festive spirit, man, pretty sure majority of Americans don't care or didn't get the memo that 2 National Guardsmen were clipped or were hit up last night, man. And one thing I find quite ironic was that you got police officers getting hit every day. He ain't do that shit for police. He ain't do no speech for police, but you know, since it fits, you know, his agenda, the elite's agenda, ultimately, Yahweh Shem Yahweh's agenda, you know, he's gonna make a speech on it, man. You know? Look, this is the new norm. We can't let up, man. All right. Which, like I said, I believe it was a setup, Manchurian candidate, or you know, they might have put a chip in that Afghan or a sleeper cell to make them do that shit. All right. And soon you niggas gonna be attacking these these guardsmen and these troops next. You YNs. All right. You T Grizzly niggas, man. All right. This is Job 18. Oh, this whole chapter's good, man. I'm gonna get it first. I'm gonna get the Isaiah. Cause you know, hey man, this devil, he knows his time's short, so he's gotta ramp things up. You know, this year's been an eventful year full of news, Lord willing. This year going into next year, it'll go into, you know, the action part of the movie, man. I see in 1904, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. So, hey, Trump is that fierce king, you know. Trump 2.0. And now we entering the next phase of Trump 2.0. And that's crazy because I was telling the head brother in my camp, I was like, look, man, you got these guardsmen patrolling these niggas in spics. These 2/3 niggas in spics for like the last, going on since September, August, right? Let's just say summertime, July, August. Let's say July. They've been boots on the ground since July, right? July to now, it's like 4 or 5 months, and I was like, yo, ain't not one body drop, you know? So they said them guys in critical condition, so they may make it. But real soon, you're gonna have some National Guardsmen or, you know, military men, boots on the ground that may not make it, man. You know, that's just the fact of the matter. All right. And we seen these guys walk by the camp. I did a whole video on a little over a month ago. Demons walk by the camp, man. Okay. So let me get this. Job 18, and I'm going to start at 5. Yea, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine, man. So, hey, man, that left hand demonic entities y'all be into, man. All right, your magi, sorcerers, all that shit ain't gonna work. Your weaponry, all that. All right, the light shall be dark in his tabernacle, and his candle shall be put out with him, man. So, hey, you about to be taken out and taken into captivity, especially you elite to Esau, man. You everyday Edomites, your light, your candle's gonna be put out, man. It's gonna get blown the fuck out, man. You know, you're just gonna get put to death and come back in the kingdom as slaves, man. All right. The steps of his strength shall be straightened, so you're gonna be in trouble, man. Your military man, your mighty men, his own counsel shall cast him down. You see Egyptian against Egyptian. You got a lot of Edomites that hate Trump. Edomites that voted for Trump a year ago. Yay, Trump's back. Yay, yay, yay. Now they mourning and sighing. Talking about they don't know where they're gonna get their next meal from. Now they in the food banks and shit. You know? For he's cast into a net by his own feet, and he walketh upon a snare. Yeah. So your devices are taken. They're taking you, man. You're getting taken by your own devices, man. The jinn shall take him by the heel, and the robber shall prevail against him, man. The snare is laid for him in the ground, and a trap for him in the way. So, hey, man. It's martial law's about to happen, man. Let this shit keep going on, man. Let these attacks on these military men keep here in America keep going, man, and see what the hell happens, man. Because I need to do another video. Find out who else has boots on the ground. What other countries has boots on the ground besides America? Terror shall, this is the point, terror shall make him afraid on every side and shall drive him to his feet, man. So, yeah, Esau, you got a lot to worry about. You got Leviathan, the angels, ultimately the Lord, Yahweh Shai, the men of the Lord as well, too. We're going to get spiritual. So, hey, all that's going to be T, what you like to call T, man. T-wisdom. He shall devour the strength of his skin, even the firstborn of death shall devour his strength, man. All right. So a lot of you Edomites, you're gonna lose your children. You know, even your widows. It says in Job, further on in Job, it says your widows ain't gonna mourn you. His confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle, and it shall bring him to the king of terrors. So hey, he was the king of terrors, Yahweh Shai, man. All right. His roots shall be dried up beneath and above. Shall his branch be cut off. So there your inheritance, all that shit, all the riches and your left hand wisdoms. You know, all that, your yachts and boats and mansions, all that's about to be cut off. His memory shall perish from the earth, and he shall have no name in the street. Yeah, everybody gonna be like, is this the man? Who is he? Is this the man that made, the whole earth tremble? I'm gonna jump down. Oh, nigga, I'll just keep going. He shall be driven from the light into darkness and chased out of the world, man. You're gonna be a chase road, man. All right? He shall neither have son nor nephew among his people, nor any remaining in his dwelling. So, yeah, your whole household gonna be put down, man. You devils out there, man, talking shit. All you do is talk shit on the internet all day. They that, especially talk shit about our people, Jake. They that come after him shall be astonished at his day as they that went before the Euphrates. Surely such are the dwellings of the wicked, and this is the place of him that knoweth not Yahweh. So he don't know the Most High or innocent, all right? Let me get to the widow's part in Job, man. Because Esau, he about to... This is Job 27:15. Those that remain of him shall be buried in death. Yeah, so your kids, your nephews, nieces, your grandsons, your granddaughters, they all gonna get clipped, man. Because guess what? When society collapses, that's when these niggas and fucking spics, they gonna wake up and say, "Oh, it's your fault. You know, I lost everything." So they not gonna be able to get to Trump. They're not gonna be able to get to the elites, but they are gonna be able to get to the everyday Edomite, man. And his widows shall weep. Yeah, because his widows know he's a fucking piece of shit. I mean, I said this once. I'm going to say it again, man. Like, I was working in this Edomite's house. This happened in the summertime, man. As well, too. First time it happened, I'm outside working out. And then, you know, the Edomite said something about my setup. My workout setup. And, you know, I'm like sitting down on the machine I'm using. Or the device I'm using. I'm just sitting down on it, right? Because, you know, I'm catching my breath. And then, you know, his dog is there, so I pet his dog. His dog went straight for my nuts, man, to lick my nuts, man. I had to, like, kind of, like, push him away, and he was trying to fight it, man. And then, same thing happened the other day. You know, I'm working in this Edomite's house in D.C. about a week ago. And they had a dog. The dog had like 3 legs, so it was like limping towards me and shit. So I pet the dog, and the dog tried to lick my nuts, man. And then the Edomite girl was there. She called the dog. Diamond, or whatever the dog name was. She said Diamond because he saw what the dog was doing, licking my nuts. Or trying to lick my nuts, man. It's lucky. They weren't licking my nuts. I was like, yo, I was like backing up and shit. I'm like, but that's why we gotta get up out of here, man. Them dogs gotta be put to death, man. You gotta watch these Edomite dogs, man. You know, they gotta be put down because scripture says they no good after, Esau be popping them and shit, man. Hey, Job said, he wouldn't have his dogs, man, set amongst these devils, man. Man, so the young Edomite girl, she's probably like in her 20s, early 20s. She said, Diamond. And then the dog stopped trying to do what the fuck he was doing, that wicked shit, man. And I had my clothes on. Imagine if there was clothes off, what that dog would have been doing, man. Because that's what Esau do. You be around parading around the house naked and letting his dogs get busy on him, man. When his wife doesn't want to give him some box, he'll go to the dog, man. Esau don't got no patience, man. All right. Because, when you're in a long-term marriage or relationship with any of these women in Babylon, I'm getting off topic, but that's how the spirit goes sometimes. Like after a while, after the, what they call the honeymoon phase, they'll give you boxes like a reward for something. Okay, he took me out on a date, I'll give him some box. Oh, he gave me some money, I'll give him some box. Oh, he did this for me. He cleaned my car, he cooked, I'll give him. That's how these bitches think. All these bitches, for real. When you first get one of them, yeah, you get the box on demand, right? But then after a while, they use it, as an incentive, man. All right. So, hey, man, Esau, this is, we very well could be entering into a lockdown, man, with Trump getting angry. Enough is enough. You still got to play that Trump card for the Illuminati card game, all right? So, like I said, this happened in my backyard, man. All right, and I don't know where else the National Guard is deployed right now. They keep saying Chicago, but for some reason, Esau is like reluctant to have them out in Chicago right now. But we'll see in the coming days and weeks ahead. So I'm gonna end there till next time.